revolution. Rise up to the fight. One love, one life for the revolution. Rise up and unite.
Hey there, you badass. How you doing? Bit of a crazy world out there at the moment, right? My name is Lauren Evans. I'm the founder of GIST, which is a self-empowerment company. I am very dedicated to helping women discover their inner strength and their inner badass and unleashing it on the world. I think that we will live in a far better universe if more women are doing that. So my vision for the world is that we're not only doing that with ourselves, but we're helping each other take that next step. Super excited that you're joining me today for the Find Your Inner Badass workshop. This is the first step in a 3-step workshop, and I've actually decided to make this first step free for you because there's lots of fucked up shit going on in the world at the moment. And I think that this will really come in useful for a lot of people. So I wanted to make it accessible for everyone. So even if you're not into deep personal development and you're not going to go on to step 2 and step 3, that's totally fine. Step 2 and 3 go really into finding out who you are as a person, what you believe in, what makes up your strengths, and takes you through very structured activities into being able to unleash that person into the world. So even if you're not into that, this first step is really great for taking control over the things which are concerning you, decluttering your mind, and feeling some calm and centered control over your life. So I think that we all need that at any time in our life, but especially at the moment. I think that we can all use a bit of this at the moment. So that's why I've decided to release it and make it available for everyone. So yeah, let's get into it. I want to explain a little bit about what I believe in, because it's really important that you understand where I'm coming from throughout this whole workshop. I believe that your potential is endless and is available inside of you all of the time. It's inherent, it's there. You don't need to become potential. You just need to uncover your potential. And when I talk about potential, that's what I call your inner badass. It's you. It's who you are, or who you can be if you step into your real self. So your inner badass is there. Whether you're fully utilizing her or not, she's inside you. Now, what can happen is there's interferences. So things that we've been taught to believe, experiences throughout our life, beliefs that other people have placed on us, or trauma which has affected how we see ourselves. All sorts of things that can really limit us and cover up that badass inside us and create all of these layers between who we think we are and who we actually are. So what ends up happening is our inner badass, which is there, minus the interferences which can hold us back, ends up being who you are in the world. Now, as a coach, what I work on is helping people understand some of the interferences which are there and they may not know are there, or overcome some of the interferences which they're stuck with. And with the inner badass part, it's going deep and discovering who that person is. What does she want? What would she like to see herself doing? And what ends up happening is that inner badass ends up flipping to be in that equals sign after the equals sign. And despite the interferences and who people thought you should be in the world, you are being your inner badass. Okay, so I really like to use hands-on activities because we can say things or, teach things by explaining it, but I don't think it really means anything until we experience how it applies to us as a person. So you're going to need to do the activities as we go along. I really encourage you to just pause it and give any of the activities all the time that it needs. You won't need much, but you will need a pen and paper. If you have Post-it notes, grab them, but you definitely don't need them. So pen and paper minimum. And yeah, we'll jump into the first activity now. So I just want you to write down why you decided to watch this. That's it. So just write that down. Okay. So you'll have something like, for example, I wanted to hear what the fuck Lauren has to say. Whatever it is, there's no judgments on any of the things that we do in this workshop. There's no right or wrong. Just write down whatever it was. Now, I want you to scrap that, and I would like you to rephrase it now as a wish. So, for example, it was, I wanted to hear what the fuck Lauren has to say. And now it could be, I wish I knew what the fuck Lauren had to say. So just rephrase it now as a wish. Okay, so hopefully you've been able to rephrase it somehow into a wish, into something that you want. Now I want you to write below that what you think that might be hinting at. And I know that that sounds a little bit bizarre, but quite often we don't write down what we actually mean. Sometimes we're writing down what we've been taught to believe or something else which is on our mind. And we're not uncovering the true feeling below it. So for example, with this one, it might be that I've been feeling a little bit lost recently. Whatever it is. And no one needs to see what you're writing down throughout this whole workshop. So try and be as honest with yourself as possible and really dig deep. Now, the reason that I wanted to do this first activity was, okay, so there's something which has propelled you to watch this. And it might be something that you're fully aware of, or there might be something a little bit more below the surface. And that's something that is worth exploring, because that's the thing, that's your inner badass talking to you, telling you, screaming silently inside you that she'd like to be unleashed on the world. If you're going to go on to steps 2 and 3, hold on to what you've written here. Okay. So now we're going to do my favorite activity. I would just like you to write down in a circle on a bit of paper everything that you're concerned about. Just write down as little words as possible to represent it. So if you have the Post-it notes, just one word per Post-it note. And the idea is to empty your brain of everything which is concerning you. If you're having trouble getting started, just write down any word, even if it's not something you're concerned about, and keep doing that until it starts to flow. Give this activity the time that it deserves, because I want you to feel very sure that you've emptied as much as you can into this piece of paper. If you need to make it your whole fucking table filled with Post-it notes or bits of paper or whatever, however you want to do it, try and get everything that you're concerned about out of your mind onto pieces of paper or Post-it notes. So pause me now and take the time to do it. Now, hopefully you have brain dumped everything which you are concerned about. How are you feeling? Maybe a little bit anxious? It's okay. Obviously, when you're going through all of the things which you're concerned about or worried about, anxious about, you're going to be feeling some of that overwhelm which these things are causing you. And that's okay. It's totally normal, or however you're feeling, totally normal. And that's why this next activity is a little bit of a break in this one that we're doing, because now that everything's out of your mind, I would just like to take a moment to do some really deep relaxation. Now, when we're doing this activity, I want you to really trust that everything that you're worried about has been captured on that bit of paper or those post-its or whatever. Trust that it's there. Don't worry, like it's being kept safe. It'll be brought back for you. And just really try and focus on relaxation and resetting yourself, because it's going to really help us for the next activities to give you some clarity into what's going on at the moment. All right, so we're going to be doing some box breathing and kind of meditation. Don't worry if you've never heard of either of those, or you've tried to meditate before and you haven't been able to think of nothing or whatever. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. The idea is that even if you just do it a little bit, it's still going to really help you reset and just relax your whole body. It's amazing what breathing can do for your mind and your body. So we're going to be breathing in for 3 seconds, a really deep breath in through your nose, and aiming to sort of fill your stomach, and then hold all that oxygen inside your body and let it nurture your body for 3 seconds, and then breathe out for 3 seconds through your mouth until you're completely deflated, and then repeat again. So in for 3 seconds through your nose, very deep breath, and then holding that for 3 seconds, and then breathing out for 3 seconds. Now it really helps to close your eyes and visualize drawing a triangle or any other shape that you'd like to draw in your mind. And we're just going to do that for a couple of minutes here. So let's start to open our eyes, roll your shoulders, Give yourself a bit of a stretch. How are you feeling now? Hopefully a lot better, a lot more centered and calm and ready to step into the next part of this workshop. Okay, so now I want you to take your piece of paper or whatever you have with all of your concerns on it. See, I told you that they were safe and not to worry, they'd come back. So you should have all of the shit that's keeping you up at night, clouding your head, all of the stuff that you can't seem to be able to fix and is getting on top of you and weighing you down in front of you at the moment. And you might be starting to feel those feelings of anxiety start to come up again. That's normal, that's okay. Just remember to breathe, and we're going to try and put some order to this bullshit in a minute. So these are all the things that we're concerned about. And I want to introduce you to the circle of influence and circle of concern. So if you have another piece of paper, grab that and have it handy. So this circle here is a circle of concern. It's the same as the last one I was showing, everything that we're concerned about. But there's actually a circle within that. And this is called our circle of influence or circle of control. So these are the things which concern us, we're worried about, but we can influence. So for example, I might be concerned about whether my boyfriend is going to actually cook a nice dinner or not, and not too much meat in it. I could be concerned about that, but I could influence it. I could call him up and ask him what he's planning on cooking, or I could decide to cook myself. I could change the outcome. So this circle here is all the things that you can control or you can influence. And what's outside of that is things which are outside of your control. So typically things which go on the outside are things like maybe coronavirus or the world economy, your country's economy, politics, all of these things. Now, theoretically, you could influence some of these things, right? I mean, you could go and study, viral contagion. You could become a campaigner for climate change or get into politics. So the things which are outside of your control and inside of your control are fluid. They can move either side. And that's where the trick really comes in. So when things are outside of our control and there's too many things which are outside of our control, that's when we start to really spiral and feel the world crushing down on us. Because the things that you can control become smaller and your inner badass becomes shadowed and repressed. And all of the things outside of your control are pushing down and starting to gather up. And this really disempowers us. On the other side, though, when we have the things that we can control or influence expanding, so we're saying, well, what can I do about that? What's the thing that I can do to put this inside my circle of control? Our inner badass really starts to shine, because those things which were holding us down, shadowing us, they might not be fully resolved, or they might not be the ideal situation that you would like it to be, but you're choosing to bring it into your circle of control. And that's the key here. It's deciding and it's being in control. So even though you're concerned about it, you're still in control. And the things outside of it, even though they are outside of your control or influence, you've decided to put it outside of your control or influence. And you might decide to only have one thing inside your control and 50,000 things outside of your control. But if you've decided to put them outside of your control because maybe you only have so much energy to give at the moment, or maybe you don't see how you can take that next step with those other topics, whatever it is, you've put it there. You're in control of that. So this is a really powerful exercise to put things in perspective, give you your power back, but also highlight where you are and have a think about where you want to be. So how big would you like your circle of control to be? Are there things on your piece of paper which you can pull into your circle of control or push out of your circle of control to give you more time or energy to pull some of the other things in? So I'd like you to take some time now to draw out your circle and draw inside it how big you'd like your circle of control to be. And then from your page filled with all of your concerns, I would love it if you could put inside the inner circle what you would like to control or influence right now. And place the things outside of that, the things that you're choosing, that you're deciding that you will not influence at the moment. Hopefully you took some time there and decided how big you would like your circle of control to be in your circle of concern. And yes, I did phrase this sentence on purpose. How big do you want it? Because I'm a dirty bitch. So that's the end of our reset step in this workshop. I hope that you're feeling a lot of clarity and calm and acceptance of, even though there are things which do concern you, you can choose how you would like to influence or impact them. So I really hope that you watch on to the step 2 and step 3 of the workshop. So step 2, we go really deep into who you are as a person, what you value, your core beliefs, what kind of strengths and skills and support networks you have available to support you to be your best self, and what it is that you really desire. It's a really interesting part of the workshop, and it's where we get to the real inner badass of you. Step 3 is me helping you unleash that person that you want to be and find what you desire in this world. And the way that I ask the questions and the structured activities that we do really help you uncover a lot of gold within yourself. So I really hope that you go through for the whole workshop. If not, thank you for visiting. Thank you for being a part of the community. Join our Facebook page on it's a community of badass women where we're supporting each other and taking these next steps in the world. So thank you, you absolute badass, and keep rocking.
Rise up for the revolution.